What's up everyone, Jason Brown here, the king of programming, back for another program review. We're in the Playbook app. We're checking out Jeremy Parks' Bodybuilder Volume 1, and we're gonna start right now. All right, guys, back for another review. We're checking out a hypertrophy-based program today, and in a few minutes, I'm gonna reveal the biggest flaw in this program that's gonna make you wanna run for the hills, so stay tuned for that. So let's check out the framework of this program. Is there a framework? And I've talked a lot about kind of the things that I look at with these reviews being more centered around exercise selection, exercise order, sets, reps, and rest intervals, conditioning, is there any conditioning? And that's certainly a huge piece of the puzzle. But of course there is a framework too, or at least there should be a framework that is the house of that program, the thing that provides the foundation, where then we are plugging in those things. Now, with bodybuilder programs, it tends to be pretty simple in the sense that we are focusing on specific aspects of the body. And I think that, you know, any body part split is a good fit for someone that is focused on aesthetics. They maybe want to compete in bodybuilding. However, I do think that there is a lot of different things to consider with the training split. And those are things I've talked about. You can check out my video on how to choose the correct training split. There's some information in there in terms of what split might be the right one for you. I will say, this is not the right split for me. I cannot stand body part splits. I think they're boring and they just don't give me what I need just from a psychological perspective. However, if this is your goal and this is the way you like to train, by all means, do it. There are, as they say, there's an ass for every seat. So this program consists of chest and triceps, back and biceps, legs and abs, an arm day, and then Friday is a cardio or high intensity interval training day. So I like that there's a structure to it already. I think that's a pro and something that we can certainly lean on. Let's see how things are delivered. So let's go to our first day on Monday, chest and triceps. And it's funny, guys, a lot of the program reviews I've seen that don't have a structure, or maybe it's just workouts, those people would be better off using something that has a definitive structure like a bodybuilding style program, because you can manage fatigue, right? If we know we're working chest and back, that can help us with planning the rest of the week. That can help us manage fatigue and make sure that we are not putting people in a position where they're potentially just kind of going through the motions and being able to not put in the intensity that we need. So I think that having that framework is very, very important. Now, this day being a chest and back day, I think is perfectly fine. But what I see here just out of the gate, and you guys can see this too, is that we essentially have ultra high rep work, okay? Seated cable fly is our first movement of the day, and then we go into an incline bench, which is 10, 5, 5, 12, 90 seconds rest, 45 seconds rest for a seated cable fly. And then we hit some dumbbell flat bench, and then some more cable fly, and then some bent over tricep kickback, bench dips for 20 reps, incline machine press, and then a single arm tricep push down. Now, so it's chest and triceps. I said chest and biceps. I was wrong. It's chest and triceps, which I was confused there for a second. But overall, if I'm just looking at this at face value, it's ultra high repetitions for almost everything. Now, we do go up to sets of 5 on the bench press, but everything else is relatively high. And I think that the misconception with bodybuilding or hypertrophy training is that you need to do high reps to gain muscle. We know that's not the case. We know that mechanical tension is a large driver of that. Now, mechanical tension can exist in a lot of different schemes. However, when we focus on ultra high reps, we run into issues as far as local fatigue. We run into not having the ability to strain and to work on more mechanical tension with bigger patterns. So I think overall, there's a lot of stuff in this day. If I was gonna look at this day and if I was gonna train a bodybuilder, I don't think the seated cable fly is necessarily wrong. Now, a lot of times exercise order in a textbook would say like put the biggest movement first, right? So our incline bench would be the first movement. I would bet they're using the fly as more of a primer to the bench press. Now, how much of a primer is it? We can use things like plyometrics to prime the first pattern of the day to allow us to utilize things like post-activation potentiation. Big word, but that's a phenomenon that we can use. There's a small window of time that we can use that. So I think that, again, if you wanted to use the fly first, you could. I would probably go with our heavy lift first, and I would do something heavier with this. I would do a 5x5 or a 4x6 to 8 with 2 minutes rest between sets. I think 90 seconds is not long enough, especially if I'm gonna go heavy. And he has you going to a 12 rep set on that final set. So 10, 5, 5, 5, 12. Again, before I get into that last set, let's say it's a drop set or maybe I'm trying to use the same load and hit it for a set of 12. We're gonna need more rest to do that. Dumbbell flat bench press, 75 seconds rest. I don't know why people get cute with the rest intervals. 60 seconds, 90 seconds, 2 minutes. I mean, again, I don't know, but that's the scheme here. It's 5 more sets, and then we've got 4 sets of cable flies with 60 seconds rest. I don't have an issue with that. I think it's a lot of volume, but I mean, to each his own, right? And then bench dips, 5 sets of 20 with 45 seconds rest, 100 total reps, 45 seconds rest. I don't know. I mean, I couldn't do that. Maybe I'm just a and I can't do that. But after everything I've done, asking me to do 100 reps, I would say is overkill. However, even throwing in a different angle with a band, you know, doing something like a kickback with a band for ultra high reps, you do some abdominal work, you call it a day. 5 or 6 exercises, put in the intensity, rest a little bit longer with those bigger lifts. Even the flat bench, you know, I would probably go 90 seconds rest, especially if you're pushing. He's got 5 sets here with, you know, around 50 or so total reps. I would probably go about 90 seconds rest, especially coming off of what we did with a heavy bench. So overall, I think it's just a lot. This is overkill for 9 out of 10 people, and I think even the one person that might have no problem with this, I would legitimately ask yourself, are you putting in the intensity with every single one of these sets? Are you 1 to 2 reps away from failure with every one of those sets? And if you are, then high five, virtual high five. But if you're not, figure out what you need. What is the minimal effective dose? If you can do it for 3 sets, then do 3 sets. Do 3 sets near failure and move on to the next exercise. If you are someone that is serious about training and you're looking for peak results year round without having to sacrifice your body, download my free programming sample. The link is in the comments. So let's move on. I'm sure what we're gonna find now is gonna be very similar. These say 60 minutes. That says 60 minutes for that day. Comment if you think that's 60 minutes. That is not 60 minutes for me. That is closer to 2 hours for me with a warm up, with a cool down, with warming up for the movements that I'm doing. There's 8 movements and we're looking at, you know, 50 to 100 reps per movement. Some of them are a little bit lower, but you get where I'm going here. So on day 2, this is a back day where we have a rope lat pullover, T-bar row, lat pull down, seated hammer curl, close grip cable row. And you guys can see the volume here, 15, 12, 10, 10, 12, 12, 12, 12, 5 sets of 12, so that's 60 reps. And then we end with 3 sets of 10 wide grip pull-ups. So let's look at the rest, 45 seconds rest for that. So if you get through all of that, all 6 of those exercises, and you can knock out wide grip pull-ups with only 45 seconds rest, then another virtual high five. You're getting a lot of virtual high fives today. That is a lot. I couldn't do that. I know the people that train with me certainly couldn't do that, and they'd get to that and they would be completely smoked. So what I would do with this day, other than throw it in the trash, is I would put the wide grip pull-ups first, T-bar row second, lat pull down third, close grip cable row fourth, and then I would do my seated hammer curls to finish off the day. And I would, again, same question, rest a little bit longer and ask yourself, are you being true with reps in reserve, RIR, 1 to 2 reps in the tank? If you can do it with 5, everything here is 4, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 3 sets, okay? I see programs that have 5 sets, 6 sets, 7 sets, and I'm like, well, are you really being true to yourself, or are you just doing junk volume? And I don't know who coined the junk volume. I've seen it a lot lately. I didn't come up with that, but I've heard people talk about junk volume, and I think this is a program where you do junk volume. Yeah, so let's move on. Legs, man, legs are in the middle of the week, which I think is probably smart because I actually don't know if it's smart with this program, but for most people, sometimes they come off the weekend and they need a little bit to get the week started. Obviously, crushing your upper body is not the best thing to do, but this day actually is a little bit more condensed, which is smart. He's actually got back squat first, which is good. 90 seconds rest, leg press second, 75 seconds rest. So it's 5 sets. That's a lot of math. 12, 10, 10, 10, 12. Okay, so you guys do the math on that. 64 reps of a back squat with 90 seconds rest. Again, junk volume. If you do 3x5 with 85% of your 1 rep max, that's going to put you in a place where you have a few reps in the tank. Can you do that for 5 sets? Probably not. And obviously, if you're going to use this rep scheme, you're not going to use 85%. But I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Are you really being true with all of this volume here? If you do 3 sets of back squat, 3 sets of 10 with two reps in the tank, and you rest 2 to 3 minutes, that's going to be very, very challenging for someone that knows how to train, has been training long enough to use a program like this, that's advanced enough. You are going to be pretty well smoked after doing that. I do think that this day, if I was going to train legs, I would do a squat, I would do an RDL, probably the leg press in there. I mean, do you even need goblet squat at this point in time? I mean, that's, again, a question to ask for 4 sets of 12. Do you need, again, it's just a lot of stuff here, and it's very much focused more on the quadriceps than it is our hamstrings and glutes. So there is definitely some things that are wrong here that I could potentially make better. He ends with some abs, mountain climbers, full crunch. This is the first day of abs of the week, by the way. I didn't see any on the other days. But either way, this is 75 minutes. Yeah, I would say it certainly is. And then we've got an arm day. If our arms aren't already smashed already, we did hundreds of reps on Monday of triceps. We did an absurd amount of volume for the upper body on Tuesday, ending with those pull-ups, which was the lowest volume of the day, 3 sets of 10. And now we've got, which is actually good, we've got more emphasis on the deltoids. So we've got more pressing, overhead press, and actually the volume is lower here, but 3 sets of 12 with 45 seconds rest. All right, guys, so I'm gonna speed this up because, again, we're kind of seeing the same things. I don't need to add, you guys know what I'm gonna say about this day. I think that it being more of a deltoid-centered day makes sense based on the structure of the week, but certainly a lot, and the question I have for you is still the same question. So let's look at our cardio and our high-intensity interval training day. High knee jump rope for 10 minutes straight. No, I don't know anyone that can high knee jump rope for 10 minutes straight. So probably interval based where you want to go like 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off, but you're probably not going to do it for 10 minutes straight unless you just have an insane level of conditioning. Sled push and pull, I like 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 3 sets of 30 seconds. Now this is the work I would bump the volume up on. Go high volume with your sled pulls. There's no axial loading. It's great to build strength. It's great to improve recovery and blood flow. It's something that you can even build the aerobic system with if you do it for longer durations. That is the work I would bump the volume up on. Jesus, coaches, bump the volume up on the things that are not going to spill over into everything else and just lead to an absurd amount of delayed onset muscle soreness. Wide grip pull-ups, we already had wide grip pull-ups. He's doing them for 50 total reps a day. That is too much volume. Weighted jackers, I don't know what that is. Jump a jack maybe, looks like something with a dumbbell. Just garbage. Hanging leg raise, and then a sprint. Okay, guys, let's move on. This program has a lot of cons. Let's go through the pros first. The pros of this program is that there is a structure. We have a framework of what needs to go in there. The second pro is that it is working, what he states it's working is working that, okay? If we have a chest-centric day, he's definitely working the chest. I do actually like the structure that exists throughout the week. I would just do it completely differently. As far as other pros, I don't know, but we're gonna have to move on because I don't have all day to do this. The cons of this program, it is way too high in volume. Like I said, ad nauseum. If you are being true to reps in reserve, how can you do all that volume? And even if you're a professional bodybuilder, again, question whether it's junk volume or it is like true balls to the wall volume. And if you're doing that much of it, you are a freak of nature. You can get it done with a lot less. I know I've said that so many times now in these reviews. You can get it done with a lot less. Now, there are other issues here. The rest intervals are off. The exercise order, for most part, is off. I mean, wide grip pull-ups twice in the week at the end of the session is off. Where is the cardio in this workout? There's no cardio in this program at all. We need something to facilitate recovery. We need something to help build the aerobic system and allow people to recover from the overall volume of this program. So I think overall, I would run from the hills. I would not do this program. There are other programs that focus on hypertrophy in the Playbook app that are significantly better than this. This program is a rejected program. And until next time, guys, results are king.